For those of us in the air modeling community, we know that some of the more, shall we say, cumbersome modeling analyses we have to do are in the state of Texas. Many states have their own twists to air modeling, and in my opinion, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, is at the head of the pack. What is it they say about Texas? Everything is bigger there. One of those twists in Texas is their air toxics modeling program, which centers around what they call effects screening levels, or ESLs. Basically, ESLs are the screening numbers TCEQ uses to judge whether air emissions might pose risks to health, the environment, or even cause nuisance odors. Last month, the TCEQ issued some new guidance on how their toxicologists review ESL exceedances in the context of air permit modeling. I wanted to take a moment today to give some thoughts and highlights of that new guidance memo. So for starters, keep in mind the ESLs are guidelines and not strict air quality standards like a NAAQS. The TCEQ's toxicology division looks at each permit case by case. They'll weigh things like surrounding land use, how conservative the air modeling is, how close people might be exposed, and even the facility's compliance history. That lack of specificity in how this program is implemented can be challenging to deal with in some instances. So ESLs are either interim or final. The interim ones are based on health, while the final ones are based on either health, odor, effects on vegetation, or effects on animals. Interim health-based ESLs are stricter since they're based on limited data. Final health-based ESLs are more refined and distinguish between threshold effects like irritation and non-threshold effects like cancer risks. Odor and vegetation ESLs are usually the tightest to prevent nuisance smells and damage to plants. The source for ESLs is the Texas Air Monitoring Information System, or TAMIS. In the old days, you would simply download a spreadsheet that listed all the ESLs, but now you go to TAMIS and query for the pollutants you're interested in to get the latest and greatest ESLs for those pollutants. What can be counterintuitive if you're doing ESL modeling for the first time is that exceeding the ESLs is in no way a fatal flaw. You're allowed to submit modeling that shows ESL exceedances, but there are limits in how often you can show exceedances, depending on whether the receptor you're looking at is over land or over water, its land use, industrial, non-industrial, or recreational, and whether you're looking at a VOC or a PM pollutant. And on top of that, you're typically allowed a certain number of exceedances of the ESL based on the magnitude of the concentration, twice the ESL, all the way up to 20 times the ESL in some cases. This new guidance memo contains tables that list all that out. So this new guidance is very useful in helping to steer an ESL modeling analysis, but keep in mind that it still isn't as black and white as an NAAQS analysis. It still can come down to the review of a TCEQ toxicologist.